That's a nice basket hat on your head.
Yeah, I've proven my own point. Hell yeah. I forgot I had that in me. Current me thinks that was one of my weakest voice acting performances. Gamers and weebs. Weebs and gamers. I really suck at intros. Hi there. Today, I am going to be walking down memory lane. Because in this very room, several years ago, I once tried my hand at voice acting. Specifically fan dubs, stop motion animations, machinima, manga dubs, and visual comics. But due to terrible luck, my passion gradually going downhill, and me coping hard that it was only because of a few too many lazy days, and family disapproval adding to that, I eventually gave up. However, since I'm trying my hand at YouTube and Twitch now, I have decided that I am going to be reacting to my past voiceover projects that I have just mentioned. And do keep in mind, I was around 18 to 19 years old at the time recording most of these projects, and with the exception of two that I will mention later on, I have not heard my voice in these videos for a very long time. So we're about to find out if they hold up at all. Now then, the first project is called Clash of the Three Worlds, a Super Smash Bros. Brawl machinima where the characters in the game meet alternate versions of themselves, and I voiced the main villain's, I suppose, loyalist, or second in command, Dark Link. And from memory, this was the first project that I actually recorded all my lines and sent them in. But the project itself never made it past episode 1. So with that, let's see if it holds up. I believe it's around the beginning. Ah, yeah. I remember this. Ominous.
This world is slowly disappearing, deeper and deeper into shadows. I do not understand what could have suddenly done this. It should be natural, but even I am feeling the ill effect of this darkness.
Your Highness.
Ah, you.
It's me.
I apologize for barging in like this, but I wanted to make sure you were still in good well-being. The unnatural darkness as well as light is spreading, and it's spreading fast.
Yes, we are all aware of it.
What do you propose to do?
There is not much we can do.
Next shot.
All we can do now is pray to the goddess.
Okay.
Princess Hilda. She is willing to throw this world into darkness where it will become complete anarchy. Has she already given up? Or is she unaware of the light we can extinguish from the light world? It will not be easy, but if we can do that, all beings of the light world will perish, and we can have complete control over the universe.
Alright then. I forgot I had that in me to laugh maniacally on command. Good times. Even though I did peak my microphone, I could tell from the sound. Not too bad, honestly. Not too bad. If I were to rate my performance as Darkling, it would probably be about maybe a 6 out of 10? Because it sounded very bland in the beginning. It's like, I apologize for barging in like this. I could have emoted just a little bit more. But the creator liked it and kept it, so that's that. Alright. The next project is one of my bigger ones. Well, the second largest project, rather. Called Bionicle Ignition, Island of Doom. Fandom, to be exact. Now, to be more specific with these projects, these movies, and there's two rather, I forgot to mention that, both of them were made by Noah Productions. He made the movies. Like stop motion, animation, added sound effects, and I believe it took him about a year for both of them. Island of Doom, and eventually City of the Lost. And he made a casting call for people to do the voices. Now, Stone Productions, he was the one who organized the fan dub that I was involved in. So technically, I was in a fan dub for a fan dub. And in Island of Doom, I voiced two characters, Huki and Vezok. And as I mentioned earlier, all except for two, I have not heard in a very long time, but these Bionicle movies I have watched a fair amount of times. But for the time of this video, it has been quite a while since I've actually watched them, because the first movie is 2 hours and the second movie is 3 hours. As if people have that sort of time to sit down and watch a movie. I'm looking at you, Avatar. So then, let's move on to our next character, which will be Vezok. He is the blue one in the middle. So let's see how my voice as him holds up.
Face us, you coward!
I don't think he appreciated that comment.
I'll show you who the real coward is. Toa! That little runt was telling the truth! Well, I'll be gone to Kazani.
Believe me, that would be an ever-fitting place for you.
I'll tear you apart, Toa! I'm not afraid of you.
Funny, my mask tells me otherwise.
Did your mask tell you this?
What just happened? I hardly saw you pass by.
That should have been impossible to pull off. Must be my Kanoe power.
That's a nice basket hat on your head. I think I'll take it.
You could use some mess to hide that cowl.
I meant your head.
Let's get her.
One of those things struck Holly. Sister, are you hurt?
No, in fact, I felt nothing.
Don't try anything. The battle's ours.
But this island is the Parakas. Toa have no place here.
You will tell us where the Toa Nuba are.
Like let you a gunk I am.
After him!
No! But
Okay, that was Vezok. I remember having fun with him, but at the same time, he was very difficult to voice. Because he was angry. He was nicknamed the Beast, and he shouted a lot. So, yeah, it was a bit of a tough one, but he was a fun character to voice of the Parakas. So, I'd probably, based on what I just heard, maybe a 6 out of 10 again, or probably a 7. I feel like if my microphone quality was a little bit better, I probably would have made him sound overall higher quality. But, you know, I was younger at the time, and I went into this project completely blind. I didn't even know it was a like a feature film that was 2 hours long. So, next character is going to be Huki, who is much easier for me to voice. So let's see how he sounds. He's the one on the left. This one right here.
Remind me again who you're taking us to.
Just go along for the ride.
It's been hard to go along with this trip, especially with me missing Metro Noe's opening day Coley match.
I'm afraid Toa have no time for games, Hyuki.
Games? I believe you meant sports. Two very different things, my icy friend. But I guess you're right. I have enough to worry about as a Toa. Everyone has discovered their mask powers except me. Kongu can read minds. Harley can sense things. Nuparo of all people can fly. Jala can do crazy acrobatics. And you do whatever it is you do.
Yeah, it still holds up. Huki is basically my normal voice. How I'm talking right now, that's exactly the voice I gave to Huki. So, compared to Vezok, he was much easier to voice, overall, both in this movie and the City of the Lost fan-dub movie. Just how I'm talking right now is exactly the voice I gave him. So, I'd probably give him, once again, maybe a 6 or 7 out of 10. Because at times, I spoke a little too quick, and I just kind of like rambled through my dialogue. If I spoke more clearly, I feel like it could have been overall better. But, 18 to 19-year-old me was auditioning left and right on behind the voice actors. Well. Now. City of the Lost. Bionicle fan-dub. I reprised my role as Huki, but then I also voiced Hydraxon, which I still believe was a miscast, and Kolma. So I had 3 roles. Huki, being a hero, Hydraxon was more of like a neutral role, and Kolma was a villain. So it was nice to switch roles between the 3 of them. So, first one is Hydraxon. And as I said, I still believe to this day it was a miscast. I was kind of auditioning for characters in the casting call for the sake of it, just so I could have more roles to my name. But with Hydraxon, my voice wasn't deep enough at the time. Because he's depicted as having a very deep voice. But I tried my best. So, let's see how Hydraxon sounds. He's the one on the right.
And it's probably worse in places like Metro Nui, my home. The end is coming, Hydraxon. Even as we stand here talking. And everything that lives can see it. And now everything comes down to one mask and one Toa. Me. Maybe I'm not just up to being a hero. So you take it. You save the universe.
It's pretty good.
Maybe I have seen a few strange things, but that's a pretty powerful mask. What are you planning to do with it?
When I find out, I'll let you know. So do we have to fight, Hydraxon? Well, you let us pass.
I have runners to catch. You can keep your toy for now, but stay out of my way in the future. Understand?
Yeah, I've proven my own point. Hydraxon is always depicted as like a big character with a relatively deep voice, but I kind of went with like this type of voice instead, and it just didn't really fit. The creator thought it was alright, but I myself, even now, still thinks it could have been better suited to someone else. So my take on Hydraxon in terms of voicing him is probably like a 5 out of 10. I think whoever voiced him in Noah Productions fan-dub was much better than mine. But I did improve upon it just a bit. Next character is Kolmar, who had a whopping 1.5 minutes of spotlight all to himself, which is something I'm very happy with. So, let's see if my voice for him holds up. From what I remember, he had a deeper tone that was more croaky and had a slight accent to it. It was like, even when not being worn. Something along those lines. So, let's see how it is. 10-2, I think. Alright then.
A mask of such great power that this beast can sense its energies from far away. A mask active, even when not being worn. It could not be. And then again, why not? Perhaps the universe has followed us all into the abyss. What needs to be done cannot be accomplished by mere Rahi. It is time to seek out the others. It's time to hunt again. After so many millennia in this place, salvation has arrived in the form of a Kanohi mask. And, like all sources of power, it will belong to those with the strength to seize it. The empire of the Baraki is about to live again.
Hell yeah. I remember the voice requirement was try to make him sound like Scar from The Lion King with a touch of Hermaeus Mora from Skyrim. And I kind of delivered. I remember the original dub being amazing for Kolmar, so I kind of took a page out of his book and made it my own. So for Kolmar, I think I might give it like probably a 7 or 8 out of 10. I really liked my performance as Kolmar. And that's not me giving myself a medal. I'm not reenacting the Obama meme. But yeah, I still believe my voice as Kolmar holds up pretty well. And then finally, Huki. As I mentioned with Huki, he is in the second movie, and I used my normal voice. So, let's see how it goes in the second movie of Bionic Ignition.
Kongu, we're underwater, right?
Yes, sadly.
But we're breathing, and talking, and I haven't sunk to the bottom yet. Oh, and there's a giant eel heading right for us. This is another one of those illusions, right?
Don't think so.
Okay. With Huki, it did feel like a slight step up in terms of overall quality, but my voice was exactly the same. So same rating as Island of Doom, probably like a 6 out of 10 for Huki in City of the Lost. Now before I move on to my next project, there is one thing I've noticed. Especially with Darkling, Huki, and Hydraxon. I had a habit of pronouncing every letter in a word that had the letter T in it. For example, instead of mission complete, I said mission complete. Our troubles aren't over yet. Our troubles aren't over yet. Pretty powerful mask. Pretty powerful mask. You know what I mean? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Depends on character, voice, accent. I don't know if it was like a verbal tick or just a habit I made to pronounce every letter in a word. But yeah, it kind of held back my performance in a sense. It just sounded jarring. But thankfully I grew out of that. And another thing, mainly with the other voice actors that I've noticed, is something called saliva pops. If you're wearing headphones, you could probably hear it more. When people are talking, you can hear like a saliva popping sound, like that. It sounds disturbing, I know. And someone can correct me on this, but professional dubs tend to have sound engineers to take those out. I didn't know that. When I was doing fan dubs, I was constantly getting saliva pops in my recordings, and I had to force that down. Like, really swallow all my saliva to make sure there was nothing. No saliva pops. Which resorted to me having 10 to 15 more takes instead of 3 to 4 when it came to recording. And that was something. And I've been told it's also unwise, to drink energy drinks while recording. What? The next project is a bit of an odd one called Salazul's Salandits, and I voiced the character Riley, whose antics would piss off his friend, and especially his master, Salazul, or as I mispronounced it as Salazul at the time. So let's see how they hold up. Shall we? Episode 1 is called Riley's Game Boy.
I sit in bed playing on my Game Boy. It was Pokemon Red and I'm trying to catch Mewtwo. But I didn't have a Master Ball. Oh no, it went on for ages.
Come on, man.
Then, suddenly I caught him. I was delighted. It was then I noticed Salazul in my room. She says to me,
"Turn the Game Boy off."
and I say, "No! I want to save the game!"
"Turn it off,"
said Salazul, getting a bit cross.
Rick Astley.
Oh no, the moment I dread when Salazul goes absolutely furious. But I'm not taking any notice of Salazul. I look up at her and say, "Screw you!" And that really does it. Her eyes glow. She gets angry, and despite being lost for words, she yells at me for 15 minutes. Then she left.
Been there.
Maybe tomorrow, she'll forget about it.
Wah, wah. Ah, this must be the credits. Voice of Salazul. Lauren Rockell. Pretty well done. Wait for it. Wait for it. Huh? Oh my god. I actually forgot the creator mispronounced my last name. Instead of Yahyaei, he put a V. Instead of Yahyai, it's Yahvai. Oh, great, I'm Italian.
Like a big pizza pie, that's more.
Right. Audio-wise, I heard a few clips in my recording for Riley. I don't know if it was like my laptop was malfunctioning at the time, or maybe it just didn't transfer well when I sent in my lines to the creator. I don't know. But let's see how episode 7 looks. Called Trying Not to Laugh.
I'm trying not to laugh at Dale's new wig. He looks so stupid.
Are you laughing at me?
No.
Then why are you shaking?
It's cold.
In a volcano? What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
If you won't tell me, you can tell Salazzle.
I'm sure Salazar will understand when she sees how stupid Dale looks. On second thought, maybe she won't.
I forgot how weird this episode was. Ah, wait for it. Wait for it. Hell yeah. And he spelled it right this time. Thank you, Louis. Sure, bud. Okay, so that was Riley. In terms of the overall voice I gave for Riley, I think I misunderstood the assignment. Because the other two voice actors had creature voices. They're like, what are you doing? This type of voice. Whereas I kind of used my voice, but raspier. I'm trying to catch Mewtwo. So it was kind of a creature voice, but it wasn't at the same time. So I'd probably give Riley... I'd probably give Riley another 6 out of 10 in terms of how I recorded his lines. There is one project left, but this one was a manga dub instead of a stop motion or animation, and it was called Alice in the Country of Clover, Closer to You, and I voiced the character Nightmare. And honestly, this was one of my weaker performances. The story itself was pretty nice, but I remember not doing very well, voice acting wise, in this story. So, see how it is. I believe I was around here. He wears an eye patch.
Just be careful, Alice. The land hasn't settled yet.
Sure. See you later.
That's him.
Gray, you're spewing thoughts.
Damn.
I know why you're worried. She's still unstable. I'm sure she hasn't forgotten. The Country of Hearts, her old world. She's putting on a face. Her feelings still drag on her. If she opened the door, she might not be able to come back here again.
Are you just distracting me from your work?
Ah, why didn't that work?
Yeah. Younger me thought my voice acting as Nightmare was decent. Current me thinks that was one of my weakest voice acting performances. I kind of just read through the script with Nightmare. I feel like if I went with like a softer tone with his voice, instead of going, Gray, you're spewing thoughts, I should have went, Gray, you're spewing thoughts. I'm sure she hasn't forgotten the Country of Hearts or her world. It could have been overall much better. But around this time, when was it? 2018. Okay, I was 20 this time. It still wasn't that great of a performance. So I would probably give my voice acting for Nightmare maybe a 4 out of 10. 5 out of pity. But the creator liked it. She didn't really see any issues, so I just kind of went with it. Now, the last project we have here is called Ophelia. And this one wasn't a fan dub or an actual project, but rather an announcement for what could have been a project. And as you can see here, I was going to voice the character Oberon. This play called Ophelia was the one project I auditioned for and got cast in twice by two different YouTube channels, and they both had the same fate. They both went quiet almost immediately, and it's unfortunate because there's one line of dialogue I remember from Oberon, and it was like, "Grant me the power of flight so that I may track down the Ophelia." Like, it was a dark kind of voice. But unfortunately, like many fan dubs, silence. Nothing but silence. Now then, since I've shown you all the videos that I could find of voice acting projects that I was a part of, there are two more that are worth mentioning, even though they never made it to air. The first one was the very first project that I was involved in, and the second one was the last project that I was involved in before I pulled the plug on voice acting. So I was much older at the time. I was around 23 turning 24 when I gave up and settled for less. But with the first project, it was called Transformers Project Research, and I voiced not one, not two, not three, but 9 characters. I voiced Mirage, Trailbreaker, Astro Train, Rewind, Laserback, Grimlock, Onslaught, Blastoff, and Vortex. I voiced 9 characters for the sake of voicing 9 characters. I was starting out, and I wanted as many credits to my name as I could, which I realized was one hell of a mistake. And as far as I can remember, the dialogue, the script rather, none of my characters actually spoke directly to each other. A Family Guy moment never happened, where I was talking to myself. Somehow, the script tiptoed around that. So I was talking to the other voice actors, who voiced their characters. And never, this character that I voiced with that character I voiced. It just never happened. It always somehow managed to thread the needle. And while the project was fun, and the recording sessions that we had were nice, I realized too late that I had very little to no versatility in my voice. It was a slight alteration for each character, and that's never good as, not just for voice acting, but acting in general. You don't want to have just one character trait and a slight alteration. Otherwise the public will say, well, he's just doing the same thing over and over. And I'm sure you can point out a number of celebrities. Meanwhile, the second project, which was my last project, was called Bionicle Ignition 3, Battle for the Island. And I voiced a relatively minor role called Wenoa. However, Noah Productions did not make Ignition 3. After the second movie, which took him about a year, he said, I'm done. Absolutely not. I'm not doing this again. And I don't blame him. A whole year for a 3-hour-long feature film. So instead, it was a relatively large Discord server who made Ignition 3. And instead of a fan dub, I was in the original dub for Wenoa. And as time went on, my passion for voice acting died out. Long before I ever truly realized. And I was always making excuses. Like, oh, having a lazy day, I'll be okay tomorrow, and then the cycle repeated. And when I was 23, turning 24, I gave up for good. And it hurt like hell. But with Ignition 3, I have no clue what happened to the project. Maybe it got uploaded, maybe it didn't. It was so long ago that once I finished all my lines, I left the Discord server immediately. I said, I've done my part, thank you, out. And I never looked back. And I wish I could hear my voice one last time with Wanawa and Ignition 3 and all that. Life goes on, I suppose. So with that, my final thoughts are, when it comes to auditioning for fan dubs, 9 out of 10 times, you get pretty good performances buried under terrible microphone quality. Especially on Casting Call Club, or back when Behind the Voice Acting did casting calls before they turned it off. I would scroll through projects that I would like to audition in, and I would hear the other voice actors, and most of the time it sounded like this.
Yeah, I really want to be a voice actor. I hope this goes well, and I'm just gonna really try my voice.
No! Get out! No! Shut up!
Yeah, I really hope, sorry about that, I was just trying to do another character.
You see what I goddamn mean? I mean, you won't go far like that. Be it fan dubs or even professional voice acting. And one thing that I've noticed a lot, back when I was auditioning for projects, if a character was shouting, I would hear whisper shouts. And very rare, genuine shouts. Which, in a sense, I understand. Maybe you're self-conscious. Maybe you don't want to make a scene. Maybe you don't want to wake up your parents. But look, I don't care if your neighbors are clapping for you at 3 a.m. Wake them up! Shout, my man. Like you're turning Super Saiyan 3 for the first time. You think these casting directors are gonna pay you for these lackluster performances when you're sitting in a walk-in, surrounded by clothes, trying to juggle a side hobby when you're working a full-time job, and... I just called myself out. Huh. But disappointments aside, the main problem with aspiring to be a voice actor is that everyone wants to be a voice actor. And even so, some people try for years and get next to nothing. Some people take the risk, move to a completely new area, take the gamble, and actually manage to get lucky and get their big break. And some, through hard work, become incredibly prolific in the industry. It's just, as I've mentioned in the past, hard work, but a very large amount of luck. Not just with voice acting, not just with YouTube and Twitch like what I'm doing, but life in general. I genuinely hate luck at times. Like, the right place, the right time. The stars align. Oh, this production company is 5 minutes away from where I goddamn live. It can be demoralizing at times when some people get all the luck. But don't let it get to you, if that's your current predicament. And I'm not a spokesperson, so take what I say with a grain of salt. If I do manage to make it as a content creator and streamer, even though I did give up I would very much like to revive voice acting. Be it creations of my own, or providing my voice in someone else's project. My voiceover experience is very rusty, to say the least. But if I can get that passion back, in some shape or form, maybe I can dust off the cobwebs. I'll even take a page from Joe Zieja or Steve Bloom and try to do some lessons. If I'm not exhausted from work for once. And time zones would suck. At the end of the day, the videos I make, even though it's going to be monthly from now on, I'm making them for the fun of it. Even though they're not exactly top-notch, don't worry. I won't do 1-hour videos forever. They can be taxing. I would rather make monthly videos with quality than produce weekly slop. Even though my next couple of ideas are more gameplay recordings and tier lists, I'm looking forward to them very much. And I hope that if you like what I make, you'll stick around. But I think you've heard enough of my rambling. So thank you for your time, and joining me walk down memory lane, seeing myself cringe at previous recordings of characters that I voiced in the past. If you want to watch them yourself, in their entirety, I will link them in the description below. A part of me believes that I can definitely do better with some of the voices that I did, especially since my voice has deepened, and I think with the right direction, I can really pull it off this time, and do much better. So with that, as always, I'm just a guy with a full-time job who wants to leave regular life. 2026 is looking to be a big year. For anime, for games, even movies. And I want to make progress this year. For myself, for my channels, and for streaming. I'm John64750, and I'll see you all next time, whenever that may be.